I just wanted to preface that I fully thought that this movie was filmed in the 80s at first. I don't know where I got that from, but I thought that it came out at the same time as Star Wars. So, yeah. Over the February break, Natalie and I both went on a train ride to North Carolina. The train ride was 12 hours long, and in that time, we became Stagecoach. Stagecoach is a product of its time, not of the 80s, but of the late 30s. Director John Ford took us on a journey throughout the Midwest, and on March 3rd, 1939, it was released. The movie was a jack of all trades. It dipped its toes in romance, classism, and racism, all in the 93-minute running time. Within its crazy cast of characters, there is essential romance between Ringo Kid and Dallas, played by John Wayne and Claire Trevor, respectively. Ringo and Dallas both start the film isolated by others. Ringo is an outlaw, and therefore isolated from people in general, as he is seen as a criminal, and Dallas is implied to be a prostitute, so she is seen as less than others. Throughout the movie, these two characters begin to relate to each other, and Ringo realizes how similar they are. He reaches out to Dallas, not wanting her to continue suffering from the isolation they've both been experiencing. They are two people shunned by the rest of the world and therefore gain a strong relationship by providing each other acceptance that they both crave. Ford uses the conflict between Dallas and other characters in The Stagecoach to strengthen the relationship between Ringo and herself.
Hey, look, it's Ringo.
Yeah. Hello, kid.
Hello, Curly.
Ringo is first introduced to the audience by the sheriff, who expresses his want to arrest Ringo for the bounty placed on him. When we first get a glimpse of Ringo in the flesh, we see a cut to John Wayne's face close to the camera and a dramatic zoom to accompany it, time-stamped at 1828. We can tell from the way the character is talked about, as well as the way the music changes when the character is in view, that Ringo means bad news. Thanks to the sheriff, we know that Ringo is an escaped convict and he is on a mission to avenge his dead brother. John Wayne stands at a staggering 6'4", which helps create a very imposing appearance standing next to his fellow Stagecoach riders, and is shown to be very handsome and put together for someone who was on the run in the Great Plains. Because of Ringo's past, he is seen as an outlaw and is at the bottom of the social hierarchy by default, but he does not let this get to him, and no one outwardly discriminates him for being a criminal.
Dallas is first introduced to us walking through the town, with a parade of people behind her. She looks upset, though we don't know why yet. She wears all black, which contrasts with the previously introduced Miss Mallory, who wears lighter colors. This previews the contradistinction those two characters will have throughout the movie. Mallory in lighter colors to show her innocence and class, and Dallas wearing darker colors to show her promiscuity. She is shown using very common camera framing, like medium shots and such, to show that she is not how women were usually shown in film back then. She is not dreamy, ethereal, or special. We learn that Dallas is probably a prostitute, and she is being driven out of Tonto by the Law and Order League. Due to her status as a harlot, she falls pretty low in terms of social hierarchy, as she is seen as less than others.
The first real problem that Ringo faces within this film is getting arrested again. While he's not happy about the situation, he does not resist arrest and gets into the stagecoach willingly. Ringo also offers to help with defending the coach for when they face the impending doom of a native tribe up ahead. We learn from the sheriff that the men who killed Ringo's brother are conspiring to kill him as well. The sheriff, while mostly driven by the price of the bounty placed on Ringo, also cares about him enough to want him safe in a jail cell instead of on the run and dead. Ringo is shown to have a compassion for everyone on the journey, but takes special notice of Dallas and her mistreatment. He stands up for Dallas when she is overlooked in the decision to leave Dry Fork, saying, "Where are your manners, Curly? Aren't you going to ask the other lady first?" He makes sure to take the time to push in Dallas's chair and sit next to her as everyone else scatters while she finds herself a seat. He even apologizes to Dallas for scaring off everyone and says, "Well, I suppose you cannot escape prison and join society in the same week." Ringo tries to create some level of normalcy for Dallas on the trip by making it a point that Dallas has a drink of water just like Miss Lucy Mallory. Somewhere along the way of Ringo's kindness, he falls in love with Dallas. He proposes to her that she run away to his ranch across the border, even though he has only just met her. Ringo also has the opportunity to escape on horseback, but he refuses to run away from the brothers who killed his family, because he knows he has to face them. We also see the greatest stunt work known to mankind, as Ringo fights off an angry Native American tribe while also riding a horse. Ringo as a character is pretty stagnant in terms of development, but he shows a lot more understanding of the situation he is in by the ending. He juggles with the possibilities of running away to a new life or keeping true to his word and fighting the Plummer brothers.
Well, what do you say?
What difference does it make? Doesn't matter.
Dallas spends most of her time in Stagecoach being treated badly by the others on the journey with her. Examples being, during the first stop, the men, excluding Ringo, make sure Mallory and themselves aren't sitting near Dallas here. And in the Stagecoach, most of the men bend over backward to make sure Miss Mallory is comfortable. And when Ringo brings up Dallas, they don't do anything to help her at all. Everyone else in the Stagecoach thinks she is below them. Dallas does not do much to defend herself in these instances. She looks upset, but she doesn't try and speak up to them whatsoever. She just takes it and does not speak a lot. There is one central relationship Dallas forms throughout the movie, and that is her bond with Ringo. Over the course of the movie, Dallas and Ringo grow quite close, as Ringo is the only one to recognize the prejudice the rest of the cast hold against Dallas. He wants to protect her from this treatment from others, as he himself is an outlaw and knows how that treatment feels. During these instances where Dallas is being treated as less than, he stands up for her, as she won't do it herself. This leads to the start of a romance, as they both understand each other like no other, and don't hold prejudices against each other because they know how discrimination can make someone feel, because they've experienced it themselves. During one of the stops on the journey, Miss Mallory gives birth. Dallas does everything she can to help deliver the baby and make sure to protect it and care for it, staying up all night to help. This gains her respect from the others in the Stagecoach, even if it's only a start. Later on, Ringo asks her to marry him and to move away with him. She does not give him an answer, as she's nervous, but it's clear that she wants to.
Ringo leaves the film when the film itself leaves. We follow him up until the very end, when he decides to follow through with a fight between him and the Plummer brothers, and ultimately leave for jail. Although we don't directly see the gunfight, we see a very long, awkward scene of the brothers in a bar before the fight. We hear what's going on, and we watch as one of the Plummer brothers walks back into the bar and drops dead. Ringo creates a strong bond with not only Dallas, who has agreed to leave for the ranch with him, but also the sheriff as the film progresses, and is well trusted by those around him, even after shooting someone in the street. Ringo's place in the social hierarchy has not changed throughout the film, as he will always be a felon, but he is starting fresh across the border, so things might change in the future. Ringo can definitely be characterized as resilient. He escaped from jail, defended a woman when no one else would, and even avenged his brother's death.
You, visiting in Lordsburg?
No, I have friends there. Maybe I can find work.
As they're in the last town, Lordsburg, Dallas is seen as happier. She is wearing lighter colors, and her hat no longer covers her face, as she is no longer hiding from the world, like she was at the beginning. Her last scene is her promise to go to Ringo's land and wait for him there until he's out of jail. She gets in the carriage to ride with him to the jail. They leave the story together as one. During these last scenes, she is now shown with the dreamlike filter that Miss Mallory was shown in the beginning, showing that she is something of worth, not less than. The others on the Stagecoach respect her now, but that doesn't mean she's risen on the social hierarchy. However, it is clear that this does not bother her anymore, as she has someone who is very happy with her, and someone that she is happy with. In the end, she is a very hopeful character. The future is looking brighter for her, as she has a promise of love and no discrimination. In Stagecoach, Ford uses the other characters' mistreatment of Dallas to strengthen the relationship between Ringo and herself. As stated throughout the video, both Ringo and Dallas are discriminated against by society. While Ringo isn't outwardly villainized in the Stagecoach, it is obvious that he has been previously ostracized for being a criminal. Dallas, on the other hand, is actively shunned by the rest of Stagecoach due to her status. They both help each other accept themselves and become more happy, regardless of their status. With regards to status, this progression is aided in the fact that Dallas was made to be a perfect foil to Miss Mallory. Dallas is not respected, whereas Miss Mallory is, exaggeratedly so, and Dallas is envious of this fact, envious of everything that Miss Mallory embodies. So, by the end of the film, when Dallas is happy with Ringo, wearing lighter colors, like Mallory had previously, it is more obvious how much she has grown as a character, and that without Ringo, she wouldn't have been able to do that. John Ford uses these characters and their arcs to convey a message of acceptance. While on the outside, people see Ringo and Dallas as less than, they were able to see the other further than their social status, because they themselves were never thought highly of by others. This allows them to look past public perceptions and accept the other as they were.